Hey guys, what's going on? It is Ash here, coming at you today in Clash Royale, sharing with you what may be the most powerful deck in the game right now. I think a lot of people are starting to discover that new combinations of what I'm going to call the Airfecta deck, using the Mega Minion, the Inferno Dragon, and the Lava Hound together, can be absolutely devastating offensively, and it still allows you enough defensive options to be able to defend your side of the map very, very well as well. So let's kind of get into it here. We're going to be highlighting Dylan's deck, and before you guys scoff at all the legendary usage, you can see we do have the Miner, the Inferno Dragon, and the Lava Hound in this deck, so I apologize to those of you who don't have all those legendary cards. I do have some substitutions that I'll give you guys in the next video that I have all recorded and ready to go. Should be out tomorrow. Is a longer format episode playing the Jason deck, which has no legendary cards, on my free-to-play account, so stay tuned for that if you're not a legendary player. But if you are, well, you're in for a treat today, because this deck is unreal. So let's go ahead and hop right into the replay here. I'm going to bring you 3 replays. It's going to be a relatively short episode today. Like I said, discussing different strategy tips with this deck, some do's and do nots, talk about your main offensive combinations, your main defensive weapons, and we'll make sure that all 3 of these replays are against other decks in the meta, so you have a good awareness of how to counter those decks. So right now, the first replay, we're going against Jinx here, and he has another Lava Hound deck that's actually really effective. This one is relying heavily on the Minion, Mega Minion combo with the Lava Hound, and of course the Tombstone, which is absolutely crucial in all of these decks. We're starting to see basically the Tombstone pop up in every iteration of these Lava Hound decks, because the Tombstone just has such great synergy with the deck. I mean, you can put it down, you don't need the Miner necessarily, you can just go ahead and allow all those skeletons to distract the defensive units, and then later on distract the tower for when the Hound pops. There we go. So let's start out there. Let's start out by talking about the Tombstone, which is probably, like I said, the second most important card in this deck. Speaking of Dylan's deck here, but I guess it could apply to Jinx's deck as well. So what you want to do with the Tombstone is identify what type of deck your opponent is playing. Now, this is often overlooked, and it's really crucial for having success with the Lava Hound deck. You're not always 100% of the time going to be playing your Tombstone offensively. You're going to have to rely on it on defense as well, especially if the opponent is playing a beatdown deck, or a beatdown deck with the Prince, the Charging Prince, or anything really that has a lot of speed coming at you. You have to be very aware at what your opponent is going to throw at you, because although this deck has a lot of offensive weapons, and we'll get to the absolute ideal offensive push in just a second here, but defensively you're relying really heavily on the Inferno Dragon, the Mega Minion, the Tombstone, and of course the Ice Spirit. So you have to be very aware of what they have. If they have a Prince or a Mini P.E.K.K.A. or a Hog type of cycle deck, control deck, you want to make sure you have that Tombstone ready to go defensively. Also applies to the Poison spell. You don't have a lot of splash damage in here. In fact, you don't have any splash damage aside from the Ice Spirit. So you have to be very, very careful with your Poison spell. Now, obviously, ideally, you're going to use it offensively, and you'll have a lot of success. You can see there, Dylan pulls off the nice victory there, using the Poison spell very heavily in that match. But if he was going against an opponent who, you know, was a cycle deck, or a speed cycle deck that he was going against, or a chip deck, you're going to have to use your Poison spell and save it defensively for when that the minion horde comes at you hard. So always be aware. Now, the second replay we're going to be watching right now, and we're going to be focusing primarily on the big offensive surge that you're going to get out of this deck, and on top of that, we're going to be focusing on how to stop the giant beatdown deck. Now, you have the Tombstone, so you're going to be using the Tombstone and the Inferno Dragon. You're going to see right here, the Inferno Dragon defensively, absolute beast mode against this giant balloon combination. I mean, the balloon does get to the tower, but look at that, 4 elixir to defend off 10 elixir. Not a bad value trade at all, and now Dylan's able to reload with the Lava Hound in the opposite lane. So now let's talk about offense here. So your main offensive combination is going to be the Lava Hound and the Miner. Now, of course, you can also rely on the Lava Hound and the Tombstone. You don't have to have the Miner. If you don't have the Miner, I talked about different substitutions for this deck if you don't have legendary cards aside from, obviously, the Lava Hound. It's pretty crucial to have at least the Lava Hound to play this deck successfully. But you can see there, the miner's actually in the right lane right now, and you can see exactly how devastating the Lava Hound mixed with the Tombstone can be on a tower. The Tombstone locks in on the Lava Hound, and all those skeletons absolutely melt that crown tower, and you can see in the right lane, the Inferno Dragon has it on lockdown with the Mega Minion. So the Inferno Dragon and the Mega Minion are two very powerful defensive units, defensive cards, and they both are pretty cheap at 3 and 4 elixir cost. So what you can do with this deck is, you can do one of two things. You can do the heavy Lava Hound push with a Lava Hound, a Tombstone, then you drop the Mega Minion, then you drop the Inferno Dragon. The Inferno Dragon needs protection from the Musketeers, so that's why you're using the Lava Hound kind of as a meat shield for the Inferno Dragon. So an ideal push, you can see again Inferno Dragon doing a good job on defense with the Ice Spirit, freezes that giant, distracts the giant into the Tombstone, and this is going to be crazy right now. There's going to be 2 Inferno Dragons on the King Tower. You know what, guys? Let's go ahead and slow this down a little bit. The miner hops in, and let's go ahead, pause, and go in half speed and watch this King Tower absolutely melt under the power of the Inferno Dragon here. So half speed, and you still can barely see the hit points on that King Tower absolutely depleting away, and there were 3 Inferno Dragons on the board at that point, so that was pretty cool to watch. So I got so caught up on that we didn't even talk about the absolute ideal offensive combination. So option A is save some elixir for defense and just go Lava Hound and Tombstone in one lane, and then use your miner towards the back end. Option B is the super mega push, where you do the Lava Hound way in the back, you recoup some elixir, then you drop your Mega Minion, you recoup, then you drop your Inferno Dragon, and then you recoup. You should have 4 elixir in plenty of time, because the Lava Hound's going to soak up so much damage offensively from the whatever the defense is countering and the tower. So what you want to do is drop that poison right before the Lava Hound pops, and that's going to be very, very difficult to counter. That's one of the reasons why this deck is so incredibly powerful. So now on the third replay here, we're going to watch Dylan go against a deck including the Inferno Tower. Just wanted to show you guys some tips on how to go against an Inferno Tower. Dylan, by the way, is having an insane amount of success with this deck. He won the Grand Challenge here with it. He's just absolutely smoking everybody he touches, and I mean, partially that might be because no one else has the Inferno Dragon yet, or at least a lot of people don't, but maybe a lot of you guys do. I don't know. A lot of you guys have saved your chests, and you guys probably already know this, but if you save your chest for when an update comes out, the contents of a chest are not predetermined, so they're determined when you actually open the chest, meaning that if you save your chests right now, you will have a chance of getting the next card released, whether it be the graveyard or whatever the card is. There's so many leaks out there, and I'm not able to share officially what the next card is going to be. I'm not sure if it's official in-game, but whatever the card is, you'll have a chance of getting it if you save your legendary chests now. So me personally, I plan on saving my legendary chests if I'm lucky enough to get one. Now, I've only gotten one so far. By the looks of it, at least, of course, I'm only seeing the highlights, so to speak, but you guys are tweeting me a lot every time you get legendary chests, and you know what? It kind of gives the perception that everybody's getting one except for me, and I really want the Inferno Dragon myself, but I'm just gonna have to wait and be patient. I was one of the last YouTubers, unfortunately, to unlock Sparky. It was only maybe a couple months, maybe a month ago or so that I unlocked Sparky, so we're hoping the wait isn't as long to go ahead and discover or unlock Inferno Dragon, because this guy is a beast if you know how to play him correctly. I see some people have unlocked him, and I see in my Twitter feed and on Facebook and stuff that some people are like, you know what, not as strong as people said he was, very easy to counter, but I actually disagree. I think if you play him correctly with enough protection, he can be an absolutely insane value for only 4 elixirs, so you just have to know how to play him. And here you can see Dylan ended up on the short end of the stick on that little push there. It looked really promising, but then the Inferno Tower melted away the Lava Hound, and then it melted away the Inferno Dragon, so you do have to be careful powerful, and look at how defensively oriented Dylan is playing the end of this match in overtime here, using his poison on defense rather than offense. It's awful tempting when you have a tower that low on damage like Dylan does to use your poison offensively as much as possible, but instead he's trying to play smart here. He's playing defense over offense, trying to set the table with exactly what type of combinations he wants. Now, unfortunately, that giant skeleton did make it to his tower, so he took a lot of damage there. He could have used the Tombstone there, but I think he thought the giant skeleton would stay just a hair back away from that tower. So now things are getting a little bit too close for comfort for Dylan, but knowing Dylan, we know that he's going to finish strong here and play smart at this point. So the opponent, obviously, besides the Goblin Barrel and the arrows, really has nothing to get on his side of the map, so Dylan's making sure that he saves his Zap spell for the Goblin Barrel and his Poison spell for the Minion Horde. You can see the Minion Horde and all those goblins and everything else totally melting there, so now he can do a big Lava Hound push, and this will be GG, game, set, match. So here's the Lava Hound, here's the Mega Minion. He's going to play the Tombstone to distract this giant skeleton away from his tower. He has the Zap ready for the Goblin Barrel. Meanwhile, the Lava Hound just slowly lumbering his way over to the tower. Poison spell down on the tower, going to melt away. Oh, at least most of these minions from that Minion Horde, and that's going to be game, set, match with the Miner on the tower. And that's it, guys. This deck is insane. Give it a shot if you have these cards. If you don't have the cards, like I said, you can sub in the Elixir Collector for the Miner, and you can sub in just straight up regular minions for the Inferno Dragon if you don't have him. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.